Hello and welcome to your mat. My name is Tess if we haven't met, and it's really a pleasure to practice with you. If this is your first time doing apnea flow, here are the basics. Number one, as goes for any yoga class ever, take what you would like and leave what you don't. These are offerings, they're for you to take and play with and weave into a practice of your own. Yoga, the practice of self-discovery. But that being said, let's keep our lungs safe. So when we take a full breath in, this wind. When we take a full breath in, never fulling past maybe 80%-ish. If the reason being, if you were to take a breath that is, absolutely 100% or fuller than that, and then move around, the lung tissue, diaphragm, intercostals, they're all pretty thin muscles, and they're not unable to tear or get damaged. So we want to treat them with kindness and with respect. So same goes for when you're bottom exhaling, go for more of an FRC. So just passively letting the exhale out as opposed to really knitting the ribs and squeezing all of the air out as much as you possibly can, and then moving around. Because same thing, you're leaving that delicate tissue in a bit of a fragile place. So with that being said, let's get started into our no fins vinyasa. Today's class is really going to focus on opening up through hips and shoulders, and I'll be speaking of the hips, your femur bones within the hip socket. So keep your ears peeled for that, and we'll start in a seat today, maybe up onto a bolster or onto a block if you have that nearby. Sukhasana, easy seat, or if you prefer to sit on top of the shins, you're more than welcome to go there. And really let your hip bones root down, your sit bones root into the earth. And your spine stacks tall. All the vertebrae. Up to the skull. And can you create a little bit more space between the shoulders and the ears? Maybe that looks like rolling the shoulders back and down, or a slight tuck of the chin for crown to grow. Belly button with a natural draw inwards towards spine. Notice the rhythm of your breath, your tidal breathing, not manipulated in any which way. The smooth sips in through the nostrils and circulate through the body and exhale out through the mouth. With the eyes still closed, start to sway yourself side to side. Sway into the neck, circle into the wrists. And slowly start to raise the arms as we're circling and waving up, kind of like those silly inflatable things that you sometimes see in car parking lots. The wavy people. And when you reach top, interlace hands, press palms up, baby back bend. Exhale, frame out right knee for the twist. In-breath center. Exhale, both hands to frame left knee. And first option to play with apnea here. So when you inhale to 80% and hold. Continue moving gently back and forth, just until your very first feeling of discomfort. Maybe not even a contraction, your first signal from your body. And that's when you let it out. Smooth, long exhale. And when you reach the bottom, it's a hold there for the same amount of time. And by amount of time, I mean relatively. So when you feel your first inkling to breathe, give into it in breath, fill the lungs. Punch out the pockets of your alveoli and hold. Continue with your twist here. Really settle into the rhythm. And you can let the gaze gently go as you let the breath out, reaching for bottom hold. And last one. And when it's time to breathe, come center. Feet stretch out long. Lord of Fish dips. Fingers are pointing towards the back of heels and bend into right elbow. Straighten through and into left. And as you bend the elbow, you can really lean into it. Let your wrist support you evenly as you ground through all four corners of the palm as well. And maybe you feel a little bit of a stretch in the side body, the upper part near your armpit, for lack of a better way to put it, where your arm connects with your shoulder. A tricky little area to stretch, but this is a nice one for that. An invitation to sow that breath that we did in the last sequence through any pose in class that feels good. You could insert it here as well. Know that apnea is safe to take pretty much any time that you're close to the ground. But if you're doing poses that are, one-footed or upside down, I wouldn't recommend it then. All right, and press yourself back up. Soles of feet come together, butterfly the knees out, Baddha Konasana. First, grow the spine tall, and then hinge at the hips, chest draws forward, towards toes. Be sure to stay really tall and long through the spine. Avoid collapsing in. We want to have space for our belly here and all of the vital organs that it holds. Can even let the diaphragm be soft and let the belly press out here. Do you feel the compression in your hip joint as you hinge forward? That compression will stop blood, not stop, but it will reduce blood flow temporarily so that when you release in breath tall, you've got fresh blood flowing to your hips. Keep right leg bent in, left leg out long. As always, grow tall first through spine before we crawl ourselves down. Hinge forward, fingertips reach. Keep space in the front of the heart. You can flex into the left toes, have them point back towards face to make sure that your leg is staying in a good position. Never to lock out through the knees. A micro bend is always a good idea. Plant right hand behind right hip, right knee, little wild thing, you should call it. Left fingertips sweep up and over. Let yourself round up through belly. And walk hands all the way over to top of mat. Ground into both hands, sweep left arm back. We're in a three-legged tabletop. Chin stand prep, chaturanga the arms, tap the chin. Toes point strong to engage all through the back side of leg, and then fold left knee inside of right. Gomukhasana legs for the rebound. Neck can be soft and heavy. Fingertips grip and reach. Let your sit bones come back to ground and unravel. We'll go for the second side. This time bend in the left knee, left sole of foot comes to the inside of right leg. Grow tall through the spine, crown reaches, hinge yourself forward. Somewhere between over top of your leg and your knee, so a middle ground. Keep a little flex into right toes and a micro bend into right knee to save the joint and to make sure we're not ever stretching too far into the hamstring. Listen to your body and find a point of tension, the edge of curiosity. One more breath to sink in. Left hand plants behind left hip, left knee, sway hips up. Little wild knee thing. Right hand sweeps up and over, fingertips strong. Walk both hands over to the top of mat. Engage into right hip flexor, sweep foot all the way back around. You're in three-legged tabletop with the right leg extended. Option to tuck left toes for stability, chaturanga the arms, tap the chin for chin stand prep. Tuck right knee into left, hips sink back, Gomukhasana. Stay long like Balasana arms, child's pose arms. And we're not in a rush to get there, but the next place we're gonna meet is Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Hands plant shoulder width apart, feet hip width, sink the hips up and back. Raise, I should say. Maybe it starts with a little wiggle, a pedal out through the feet. And as we get comfortable rooting our hands and our feet into this earth, a good time to give some respect to the caretakers of the land that came before you. Here today, we're on Gadigal land. If you're unsure of the traditional landowners where you are, I encourage you to look that up after practice today. Right toes sweep high, bend the knee to open the hip. Right knee taps right elbow, kick back three-legged. Right knee taps left elbow, kick it back, three-legged plank. Right knee to right elbow, hold. Like you've been pressed on slow motion, step the right foot through. Anjaneyasana. Left knee delivers down, low crescent lunge. Let your exhale carry the hips backward, straighten out through right leg. Right toes towards the face. Come forward, pressing onto right foot, ground yourself. Chair pose, Utkatasana. Hands reach forward and really curve through the entire length of the spine. Tuck into the pelvis and arch through the upper back. In breath, flex. Bend through the upper back, reach arms. And then curl. Kind of like we're bringing a cat-cow motion into our chair pose, Utkatasana. So a little bit of spinal flexibility, a little bit of hip mobility, like pelvic rotations, all while practicing balance and strength too. How fun, how good. And press yourself tall. Hands come down to side. Awkward series. Let the feet come to hip width distance. Root strongly through all four corners of your feet. Arms to reach out forward, bend into knees. Sink yourself all the way down. When you reach bottom, immediately reverse, rebound up. Once you reach top, onto balls of feet, tippy toes. Like your back was drawing down a straight wall behind you. Bend into the knees as low as you can. When you hit bottom, rebound just as straight and just as controlled as you went in. Last one in the sequence. Stay on the balls of the toes. Knees come to press together. Upper thighs are glued. And knees bend all the way down. Upper back drawing down a flat surface. Hit the bottom. Press back up using your strength. Tricky with the balance. Release the arms, release the feet. Loosey-goosey. Ground into right foot, left knee bends. Circle out through ankle and hands to hips. First here to get your balance, and if you like to give your hip flexor and your quad a little bit of a hey there, hi there, it's a kick out long. Either hold or pulse for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release, sweep left toes around long. We'll rebound through this side lunge shape of sorts, creating length from the left fingertips all the way down a twisted line. And come back center. Second side. Which, I'm getting myself all mixed up here. In-breath, arms sweep high. Exhale down. Fingertips press, half lift. Plant the hands, step it back. Your vinyasa. Chaturanga down. Press tops of feet. Urdhva Mukha. Flip over the toes. Downward facing Adho Mukha Svanasana. Left toes point up and high. Bend the knee to open the hip. Left knee taps left elbow. Kick back, three-leg plank. Left knee to right elbow and back again. Left knee to left elbow, hold for 3, 2, step it through. Anjaneyasana, right knee down to ground. Let this be long if you'd like it to be. Sink heavy into your hips, into your groin. Acknowledge that it's a lot of muscles and a lot of ligaments and a lot of bone joining up, which means sometimes it's going to take a lot of time as well to loosen up. Next in-breath, shift the hips back, half split, straight through left leg, and hinge upper body. Long in the spine. Crown of head is naturally in the direction of the rest, pulling into the space above. Rock yourself forward with or without the hands, chair pose, top of mat, Utkatasana. Arms reach tall, tuck into the pelvis, reach, curl through the upper spine. And then reverse. Arms to reach back, baby back bend, flex through the pelvis. Tuck into core, curl, reach. And opposite, flex. Let yourself come to stand. Loosey-goosey. Shake out through the legs, through the wrists. I hope that you might be able to see a tiny speck of the moon. Wow, it's gorgeous over there. Getting sidetracked. This time, firmly into left foot, all four corners. We're skipping the awkward series on this side and getting straight into it. Bend the knee, rotate the ankle. Woo! And if you are outdoors and in a windy spot, it's an extra challenge for your balance. Kind of fun. If you took the straight leg on the other side and the pulses, kick right heel out and pulse for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Wrap right toes around and back, step them out to the side, lunge. Lengthen right fingertips to twist down through hip flexors, psoas. And step yourself back center. In breath, raise high. Exhale, rinse yourself out, vinyasa. Fingertips press for the half lift. Plant the hands, step it back. Either straight to downward dog or your choice to flow it through. Meeting with hips up and high. Raise the right toes, bend into the knee. Really drip the hip open. It's okay to let the shoulder tiny bit rotate out of line. And bring yourself back square. Right knee taps right elbow. Kick back three-legged. Right knee to left elbow. Kick it back. Right knee step through center. Virabhadrasana 2. Warrior 2. Strong and long through both arms. 45-degree angles in the back foot. Cactus out through the arms. Flip the gaze to the long edge of the back side of your mat. Goddess pose. Rotate out through bent left knee. 90-90 each side. Keep the depth of your hips. Raise hands tall. Can you become more broad through your collarbone? Bend into left elbow, straighten out through left leg. Ucchino Konasana, extended side angle pose. Right elbow comes to right knee. Reach left fingers long and overhead. Ground both hands inside right foot. Option for lizard lunge, or windmill yourself all the way open, horizon pose. Pinky side edges of both feet. Gaze long beyond the edge of your foot. Swivel yourself back forward, step it back. Plank pose. Chaturanga, lower down. Shift yourself forward and ripple back. Adho Mukha Svanasana. Kick high through left toes, bend the knee, let the toes drip. Feel the tension in the hip. It's okay if there's a slight peeling up of the shoulder. And then re-square yourself out. Left knee, left elbow, contact. Three-legged plank. Left knee, right elbow. Kick it back. Left knee, left elbow, hold for 3, 2, step it through. Virabhadrasana 2, Warrior 2. Spin the hips open and stack the torso tall. Like you're evenly balanced, not reaching forward or backwards. Cactus into both arms and rainbow out as you bend, coming into goddess pose, equal bend into both knees. Almost as if you're having a little tuck into the pelvic bowl. Avoid having a super bend in the lower back, just for this time. Keep the depth and the strength of the pose as you reach high through arms, through fingertips, strong in the shoulders, broad through the heart. And then re-pivot back right foot, 45 degrees. Bend into left elbow, Uttita Parsva Konasana. Left knee and left elbow contact, reach up and over with the right arm. Really stretch through side body. And then both hands plant inside left foot. Option, lizard lunge, or swivel all the way, horizon pose. Grip into pinky side edge of feet. And heavy into hips. And unravel yourself. Step it back plank. Meeting in Adho Mukha Svanasana, or rinse through any which way you like. And we'll string it together for one long, fun, funky flow. And if you've reached us in downward facing, kick high into right toes, bend the knee to open the hip. Option to drip all the way over into Wild Thing. Back bend, lift through hips. And circle back just as slow and controlled. Right knee, right elbow, kick back. Right knee, left elbow, kick back. Right knee, right elbow, hold for 3, 2, 1. Step through Anjaneyasana, low crescent lunge. Let left knee melt down. This time, bring a little back bend into it. Maybe hands go to lower back or reach towards the ground. Inhale up through center. Ardha Hanumanasana, half split. Right toes peel back towards face, straighten out through the leg. Replant into right toes, chair pose, top of mat. Reach tall and tuck round through the whole length of spine. In breath to wave your spine flexed. Let your breath lead you through. Inhale, exhale, wave the spine. Starting the movement from the pelvic bowl. Like the tilt of the pelvic bowl is what starts the ripple motion movement. Come all the way to stand tall. Plant into right foot, left knee comes to bend. Circle out through the heels, staying here or kick long. Or hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, let it go. Wrap around for the side, twisted lunge. Reach up and over with left hand. And as you straighten out here, it's kind of a funky unravel. Warrior 2, Virabhadrasana 2 with right knee forward. Cactus into both arms, goddess pose, sink deep. Little tuck of the chin and the pelvis to stay long through the spine. Really grip into heels, strengthen into your hamstrings as you reach fingertips high. Bend right elbow and twist, straighten through back leg. Side angle pose. Right fingers reach for ground as left reaches up and over. Both hands plant inside right foot, lizard lunge, or twist it all the way, horizon pose. And just like you swiveled in, swivel yourself out. Both hands to plant. Last option for vinyasa if you'd like to take it. Sink down, chaturanga, elbows hug close. Press onto tops of feet. Long through belly. And roll over toes, hips tall. Adho Mukha Svanasana. Last flow, last side. Kick up through left toes, bend the knee to open the hip. Let the heaviness of your leg really drip the joint open. Maybe and lead yourself all the way into a wild thing. If so, hips reach high. Equal bend all throughout front side of body. Unravel yourself slow and controlled. Left knee taps left elbow. Kick back. Left knee to right elbow. Kick back. Left knee, left elbow, hold for 3, 2, 1. Step through Anjaneyasana. Low lunge. Hips heavy. Baby back bend. Maybe hands to support the back. Maybe fingertips reach for a block or for the ground. As you rebound yourself through center, straighten out left leg, half split. Hinge long upper body, stay square through the hips, grounded through the heel. Get ready to either use hands or not. Chair pose, front of mat. Utkatasana. Reach tall and long, flex through the spine. And exhale as you curl kind of like the mono fin, where the movement originates from the pelvic bowl. Let the ripple start there and really roll up the length of your spine. Stay grounded into the corners of your feet and strong into the quads. One more ripple. Come tall. This time ground into left foot, bend right knee. Circle out through ankle. Maybe there's still a lot of snap, crackle, pop at this point. Depends on the day. And either stay here or extend out for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Wrap right foot around and step out to the side. Lunge, twist, shape. Think about creating as much length as you can in the front of your hip in your psoas. Maybe you reach right fingertips even higher. And as you unravel, it's that weird balance. Can you get yourself to Virabhadrasana 2, Warrior 2? Strong and sturdy and centered. And then cactus out the arms. Rebend right knee, goddess pose. Sink yourself deep and strong into the pelvis, like you're squeezing into your butt cheeks too. Slight gaze shift up. Arms reach up and back bend in the C spine, upper back. And then bend left elbow. Re-straighten right leg, back leg. Side angle. Connect left elbow and left knee and reach right fingers up and over. Plant both hands inside left foot, lizard lunge, or windmill yourself all the way open for horizon pose. And let yourself unswivel. Option to rinse out through a vinyasa. Option to go straight to child's pose. To catch our breath before we have a little slow down here. Let knees come to width of mat and heart sink. Arms are long, but not active. And let yourself settle. 4 more cycles of breath in the calm. In the compact. And as you press yourself up, we're going to hit lizard lunge once on each side to give a little bit of extra space and time. Option to change this, or not change this, to turn this into an apnea option, either on full or on empty lungs, your choice. Left foot steps through. Right knee can be connected to the ground or lifted, depending on if you're wanting more passive or more active. Both hands crawl inside of left foot and let the knee splay out to the side. Maybe letting the sole of the foot roll off the ground. You're on the pinky side edge of the foot. And do you feel where it's hitting a point of tension in the hip? Maybe it's a little bit of a different angle than your traditional straight forward lunge. So we have to remember that the hip is a 360-degree joint, so it's going to need several different stretching techniques in order to make sure that it's fully loose. And you can stay onto hands or lower yourself down, forearms. And if so, let the chin be heavy. Top of neck round in. Is there somewhere that you can soften? And a reminder to come out of your breath hold at the first sign of discomfort. These apnea flows are more to create a comfortable familiarity and not to be an intense CO2 exercise by any means. If you went down, press yourself tall, tuck right toes, and press yourself onto right knee. Swing yourself back, three-legged tabletop. Circle out through left ankle. An option to stay here, or if you like to go for chin stand prep, it's chaturanga arms. Chin taps ground, left toes point long and strong. Press yourself back up, left knee bends into the back of right hip sink back. Gomukhasana, legs, cow face legs. And let yourself come back center. We'll go the other side. So, right foot comes forward for right-sided lizard. Left knee can either be resting onto ground or tuck into toes and lift. And again, reminder to check in with your body. What's it needing today? Health and strength is not linear. It's all dynamic. So it's the practice of paying attention to what you need. Let right knee rock out and onto the pinky side edge. And get heavy into the hip. You can stay pressed onto palms or walk yourself forward, forearms to ground, or somewhere in between. Maybe if you're at home, you've got blocks or bolster or something you can put beneath your head or your arms. Main thing, sending breath. Breath, breath, breath to these big joints that realistically need a lot of blood flow to feel loose too. One more cycle. And if you walked yourself down, press yourself back up. Tuck into left toes, kick right leg back, three-legged table. Circle out through right ankle, and stay exactly as you are, or if you like to chin stand prep, chaturanga arms, elbows close into body, chin taps. Press yourself back up, right knee tucks into the back of left. Deliver hips back for the cow face shape. And as you unravel, come down to belly. Stack hands to create a pillow, belly shavasana. For 3 cycles of breath. Arms either out to a T or to a cactus, depending on how spicy you'd like to get in your shoulders today. Bend into left knee and roll onto right shoulder, like you're reaching the left toes, like they were going to land inside of the right hand. And keep the arms out into the cactus shape or long into the T. Hint, the cactus shape. It saves on space and oh boy, it turns up the spice as well. Note, if you're watching the video, I opted for a T today. And let yourself come back through center. This time, bend into right toes and roll up and on to left shoulder. Like your right toes were going to land inside the palm of your left hand, hypothetically. Let the weight of your body really crunch down through the shoulder in a yummy way. Then 2 more cycles of breath. And then unravel. And we're gonna log roll ourselves all the way over so that we're on our backs. You can scoot yourself so that you're back on your mat, because spoiler alert, we are going to end Shavasana in this position. Lay onto back. Bend into right knee, clasp around the shin. Tuck leg close into body. Avoid the rib cage, but pull tight. Really squeeze, compress the right side of your abdomen, the ascending colon. And as per, anytime your ankle's up in the air, opportunity to roll out through the ankle as well. Let your next exhale carry leg across the body in a twist. Right arm extends out to the T. Left is gently carrying knee across the body. And let yourself unravel. And the second side, straighten out through right leg, bend into left, clasp, interlace hands over top of shin. You can flex into both toes to make sure your hips are flat onto the ground. And maybe start to roll out through left ankle as you pull leg in tight. Avoid the ribs, but really compress the belly. This time we're on the descending colon. So yes, these are great poses to do back to back for digestion. And if you're taking the twist, let right hand come to left knee and guide over the body. Gaze shift towards left fingertips, out long in a T. Let left knee be heavy as torso gets to sink into the twist. Tall in the base and rotating through the mid and upper. One more full cycle of breath. And let yourself come back onto your back body, and at this point it's, you guessed it, any last moves or Shavasana. Maybe Shavasana involves taking out your hair and taking a watch off your wrist, putting a sweater back on, bolster under your knees, anything to get yourself cozy. And let your body be soft and heavy. Let the eyelids close and the gaze shift inwards, scan the inner landscape. How's it feeling after having some movement? How does it feel settling into stillness? And I encourage you to let yourself be as supported by the ground as physically possible. And I'll give us several rounds of breath here in silence as we lay soaking in the benefits of our asana practice. eyes still shut, start to bring a little twinkle into the fingers and toes, a little bit more awareness into the breath. And the twinkle becomes a roll, or a yawn, or a stretch. And if you like to roll off to one side of the mat before you sit, you sure can. And if you like to come straight up, I will meet you there. And the hands come to heart center, heel of palms to sternum. Thumbs to third eye, trace the face, pause at the lips. And trace the face to stop at the heart. And I hope that with you off of your mat today, you're able to carry with you lightness in your mind, curiosity in your words, and warmth in your heart. Thank you, thank you, thank you for practicing. I hope you had some fun peppering in some breath hold into your yoga. I hope I helped loosen up through your hips and through your shoulders. And that you have a great rest of your day, or evening, or what have you. And that I will see you in the next practice. All right.